Good morning, I'm Nandini and I'm from CSCP first year, and today my topic is about Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Before I give you any insight on how do you use this topic, where do you use this topic, and what are the applications, how did it originate, I will try and give a real life example so that you can relate to this topic more easily. For suppose you're going to a movie, then you will know that the probability of you going to a movie will be based on the number of friends who come along with you. Because obviously, the more the friends, the more merrier it will be. And not only in such a case, there is no picture of this coefficient of correlation, but the probability of you going to a movie will depend on many other factors, such as the nearest theater, the genre you like, the budget you're going to spend for the movie. And when you try and put out a distribution table from your past experiences and sort data from distribution, then you can get a coefficient of correlation, or you can calculate on the basis of which you can um, realize that the probability of you or any person in real time going to a movie will be on the basis of the value that you get from the coefficient of correlation. Not only this, it is used in many other real-time pictures like in economy, where the market price and the cost price keep varying due to n number of factors, and wherein you need a coefficient of correlation in order to correlate two different statistical data that you'll be given with. Now, moving on further, before you actually know about the concept, what exactly is this Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation? So basically, Carl Pearson's in order to calculate the coefficient of correlation, it means you're relating two variables. The word itself says you are assuming something and you are actually finding out a relationship between two variables. That means you're given a bivariate statistical data. When I mean by bivariate, it means two variables. Now, this Carl Pearson's correlation coefficient, it is a measure of the linear association. It is a measure of the strength of the linear association between two variables. Like if you're given two variables with different statistical data, be it those two variables are completely different variables, this correlation coefficient will tell you or will measure the strength of the linear association, like how far are these two variables linearly associated. And when I speak of the practical definition, then it is a correlation coefficient is generally applied in statistics to calculate a relationship between two variables. The correlation shows a specific value of a degree of a linear relationship between X and Y variables. See, as I told you, it will give you a degree of linear relationship between these two variables, X and Y, A and B, Y and Z, any two variables. And there are various types of correlation coefficient. See, not only in order to understand the relationship between two variables, you can use n number of ways, and there are many correlation coefficients. There are many coefficients, but we choose Carl Pearson's coefficient when frequently you use it in the case of linear regressions. That is when you are processing data or you want to process the relationship between two variables in the form of a linear regression, or when you want to know the linear association between two variables, then you frequently choose this Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. But there is nothing like you need to choose only this for a particular genre. There are many other correlation coefficients as well. Now, Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation is an extensively used mathematical method in which the numerical representation is applied to measure the level of relation between linearly related variables. See, as I told you, it's all about the linear association between the two variables. And this coefficient of correlation, Carl Pearson's, it is also known as Carl Pearson's moment product coefficient of correlation, or simply it is known as Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. It is represented by R, or it can also be represented as R subscript XY or AB or YZ. That means it is just to show that that is the correlation between bivariate data, that is two variables data, that is the relationship between two variables. And moving on, the formula. See, there are different formulas to calculate the correlation between two linearly associated variables. That is, there are different versions of Karl Pearson's correlation coefficient. Here I have mentioned just a formula for discrete data sets. Now this is used on a large scale, or you can have a formula like R is equal to covariance of x comma y by sigma x into sigma y, where covariance of x comma y formula is summation of xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar by capital N, where x bar and y bar are nothing but the means of the distributions of x and y variables. And coming to sigma x, it is the standard deviation of x, and the formula goes like under root summation of xi minus x bar whole square by capital N, and sigma y is the standard deviation of y, and the formula goes like under root summation of yi minus y bar whole square by capital N. That is a normal formula where you know the covariance. Now there can be a class distributed frequency distribution. For that, again, you use a three-dimensional different formula, and the formula for discrete data sets is something like this: R is equals to capital N into summation xy minus summation x into summation y by under root capital N summation x square minus summation x square into capital N summation y square minus summation y whole square, where capital N is the number of pairs of scores. Like what are all the data that is given, the number of data, scores data. And summation xy is the sum of the products of paired scores. Summation x is the sum of x scores, and summation y is the sum of y scores. Summation x square is sum of squared x scores, and summation y square is sum of squared y scores. And it was developed by Karl Pearson. So the name says it is Karl Pearson's correlation coefficient. So it is developed by Karl Pearson from a related idea introduced by Francis Galton in the 1880s, and for which the mathematical formula was derived, and it was published by Auguste Bravias in 1844. The naming of the coefficient is thus an example of Stigler's law. So this is the formula. It is basically the formula for discrete data sets. You can have different formulas used in different situations. Now, properties of coefficient of correlation. So as I told you, Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, it is denoted by R. Now this R, it always lies between -1 to +1. See, when the R, like it can have any value between this. Now there is a perfect value situation. Three situations are like that, where R is equal to +1, then it is said to be perfect positive correlation. And if R is equal to -1, then it is said to be perfect negative correlation. If at all R is equal to 0, then it is said to have no correlation. Obviously, when R is 0, then that means both the variables, the statistical data, whichever is given, they have no correlation between them. Now, R just need not be +1, -1, or 0. It can have any value. In basic sense, if R is greater than 0, then it is said to have a positive correlation. If R is less than 0, then it is said to have a negative correlation. We use a name called perfect only when it is +1 or -1. Now, the coefficient of correlation is independent of the origin and the scale. Yes, whatever R that you calculate, it is independent of the origin and the scale. Now, what do I mean by origin? When I say that it is independent of origin, that is when you subtract any non-zero constant from the values of x and y, then the value of r, whichever you calculate, will not have any change in it. And when I mean it is independent of scale, then when the values of x and y, when they are multiplied, or when the values of x and y are divided by any non-zero constant, again the value of r, whichever you have calculated, will not have any change in it. That is why it is said that the coefficient of correlation is independent of the origin as well as the scale. Next, the coefficient of correlation is a geometric mean of two regression coefficients. It is said to be that is R is said to be the geometric mean of two regression coefficients. The coefficient of correlation is 0 when the variables x and y are independent. But however, the converse is not true. Now here there is a noting point. Basically, the Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation, it treats all the variables equally. That means whether the variables are declared to be independent or whether the variables are declared to be dependent, it does not matter. That is why it is said. But there is an exceptional case that whenever the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation is 0, we usually say that the variables x and y are independent. It does not mean that whenever it is not equal to 0, they are dependent. That is why I'm saying that Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation will always treat all the variables equally. So that is about the properties of coefficient of correlation. Moving to the assumptions. Now, in order to calculate this, we assume few things on the basis of which we calculate the coefficient. The first assumption is the relationship between the variables is linear, which means when the two variables, whenever we plot a graph between the two variables x and y, then we assume that the graph is a straight line. Only then it'll have a linear relationship. That is what. So we assume there is a linear relationship between the two variables. The second assumption is there are a large number of independent causes that affect the variables under study so as to form a normal distribution. Now, an example which can support this assumption is the one that I've previously quoted. That is, in economy, the cost price and the market price, they differ on the basis of a lot of factors. In such cases, we assume the second point. And the variables are independent of each other. This is just an assumption. But in the real case, the Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation will treat all the variables equally. Note, the coefficient of correlation measures not only the magnitude of correlation, but also tells the direction. As I told you, if it is less than 0, then it shows negative correlation. If it is more than 0, then it shows positive correlation. That it is direct thing. And if it is equal to 0, then there is no correlation. We say perfect only when it is +1 and -1. Apart from that, it can have any values from -1 to +1. Moving on, the procedure for computing the correlation coefficient. How do you actually compute this? Now, first of all, you have to calculate the mean of the two series x and y, which is x bar and y bar, summation x by n and summation y by n. Next, calculate the deviations x and y in two series from their respective means. As I told you, standard deviation is nothing but sigma x and sigma y. It is the formula as quoted earlier. Next, square each deviation of x and y, then obtain the sum of the squared deviation in summation x square and summation y square. That is the third step. Multiply each deviation under x with each deviation under y and obtain the product of xy. Then obtain the sum of the product x comma y, that is summation xy. Substitute the value in the formula. You need to follow all these 4 steps and substitute them accordingly in the formula. You will get a clear picture as soon as you know the formula, whatever to calculate and whatever to not calculate. It is better to know the formula rather than understanding the steps. Next, So sample problem. Before I tell this, I will tell you that whenever you are calculating Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, it attempts to draw a straight line which best fits the two statistical data that are given in the table, or that are given to you in the question. So, and it the value of R that we obtain, like here the value of R is some 0.5186 in this question. This value just tells that how far away will these two data points be on the straight line that best fits the two statistical data that are given. That is our prime aim. It calculates the linear association between the bivariate data that is given to you. That is only the prime aim that we achieve to know in this Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation method. And here I have given a sample problem where X and Y values are given. As mentioned in the procedure to follow, you need to first calculate the mean, X bar and Y bar. Here I have given it as U and V, and then you have to calculate the squares of that, and then just UV you have to calculate. Everything is mentioned in the table here, which are on the basis of the calculations. Then you have to see, as I told you, the Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation can be represented by R or Rxy, as in here. Like it shows that that particular coefficient of correlation is telling the relationship between two variables which are X and Y. You have to substitute the above values in the given formula, and then you get the final answer as 0.5186. So 0.5186, it is more than 0. The direction is the positive direction. That is, it is having a positive correlation. X and Y are having a positive correlation. That is the thesis that we gain from the R value. Now, the merits of Carl Pearson's method, I have mentioned a few merits here. This method not only indicates the presence or absence of correlation between any two variables, but also determines the exact extent or degree to which they are correlated. As I told you, it shows how far the data points will go on the straight line, which best fits. Under this method, we can also ascertain the positive direction, which direction, not only the magnitude but also gives the direction. This method enables us in estimating the value of a dependent variable with reference to a particular value of independent variable through regression equations. This method has a lot of algebraic properties for which the calculation of coefficient of correlation and a host of other related coefficient of determination are made easy. These are a few merits of it, like not only knowing the magnitude, but also knowing the direction, to knowing the exact extent to which they best suit, and all of this. And here are a few demerits. One of the most important demerits is it is comparatively difficult to calculate, as its computation involves intricate algebraic methods of calculation. As you've seen, you have to calculate a lot in order to know the exact answer. It's a time-consuming process. It is very much affected by the values of the extreme items. It is based on large number of assumptions. Like we have made a lot of assumptions that the variables are independent. There is a linear relationship, a lot of assumptions. It is very much likely to be misinterpreted, particularly in case of homogeneous data. Yes, when you have similar data, we are likely to misinterpret it. In comparison to the other methods, it takes much time. As I told you, you need to have a lot of calculations. It's a very time-consuming process. It is subject to probable error, which its profounder himself admits, and therefore it is always advisable to compute its probable error while interpreting its result. You need to compute the probable error first in order to interpret the results accurately. This is about the Carl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. Thank you.